Well, folks, a pleasant good morning. This is Cool TV. We're coming to you live from the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism. This morning, Miatta Fahnbulleh will be addressing the media regarding public speculation of her mismanaging the inauguration funds. So be with us. My name is Daniel. What am I doing?
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, we'd like to welcome you to the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism regular Thursday press briefing. You may be thinking that yes, indeed, the Ministry of Information does not have a minister. But in the action of the ministry runs. And so, it is by an act of the National Legislature the ministry was established. So the committee on the inauguration have been working. The chair on that committee is Miatta Fahnbulleh. She has asked to come on the national platform to provide some update on her workings. And so, without much ado, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Director Pelede. Mr. Pelede will come on the platform to introduce to you in depth those members of the committee, after which Miatta Fahnbulleh will come on the platform to explain to you in details on some updates. Mr. Pelede.
Jonathan Pelede.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fahnbulleh. This program, the conference was intended to start at 11 o'clock. We are already behind. So we will not take any long time to make introductions here. We came as an inaugural committee that's headed by Miatta Fahnbulleh. What I can say is, even though there are some committee members in the room, if there's a need for any of them to make clarification in terms of what they did or what they were supposed to do, then of course that committee member or chairperson will come. But not a waste of time any longer. We were, like for me, for example, I was a committee on media and communications. And so if there will be some issue that have to do with communication, you can direct that to me. But the chairperson of this committee, Miatta Fahnbulleh, will give an overall view of what transpired, so that if you have a question, the question can be asked how or to the relevant committee. So, Miatta Fahnbulleh, it's my pleasure to introduce the media to you and to also introduce you to the media to make your point.
Miatta Fahnbulleh, they're mounting the podium to speak to the media.
Good morning, members of the media.
First of all, let me say thank you to His Excellency Joseph Boyka for the recognition and the call to perform a national patriotic duty. Through our advancement, the President recognized our life's work dedicated to the arts advocacy for enhancing gender equality. By choosing me, I believe President Boyka wanted to elevate the showcasing of our rich cultural heritage through our arts and crafts, fascinating history, delicacies, music, poetry, and other performing arts. President Boyka made it clear that he wanted a modest celebration that was inclusive of all citizens, irrespective of our various divisions, preferring an event that encouraged building a bridge rather than one that widened our gaps. He wanted an event that extended beyond the Unity Party alliance. On December the 10th, rather December the 8th, I was informed publicly of my appointment as the head of the Inaugural Committee. Plenty news around my name, compliments, opinions. But I'd like to inform the press and everybody here that I was the inaugural chair in name only. The Unity Party ran a second alternative inaugural committee from their office on Broad Street. And then the government of Liberia also became an inaugural head by controlling the budget and every other plan that we had. I control no budget. For those who have clutched on to the report of the 650,000. For that, you will be able, through the audit, to see that during this entire period of putting this program together, my team was considered non-government actors, meaning we made no demands, we could carry out no problem solving, because I was reminded on a daily basis that this inauguration was that of the government of Liberia. We put everything in place. By His Excellency's order of wanting a small, modest, dignified inauguration, we went in search of the venues. I recommended the Centennial Pavilion for its historicity, for its convenience, and for it having less work than all of the other venues. That was the plan I presented to the JTPP, and from there my troubles started. Centennial was too small. Centennial could not accommodate. Centennial was not large enough. And I said we can host 4,000 people in the hall, outside, under the canopy. I even went to the extent of conferring with Bishop Samuel Reeves, asking if he would permit us to use his church as an overflow and we would put screens inside. He agreed. But there were those who had decided that it was not to be. When I presented that proposal, I was reminded by the legislature that they had oversight for the inauguration. Also, the question of crowd control. Like I said, I was the inaugural head in name, where other people made the decisions. And when I think about it now, there was a stage when I realized I was not in control. And I sincerely gave it a thought of relinquishing the position. But of course in Liberia, you know, everybody, oh, Miatta, how you tell the president you can't do it? How would you do that? How would you do that? Yes, I was probably being selfish, thinking about myself. And so we continued on the exercise. Funds were made available. Funds were made available to help the committee to begin their work on January the 15th. Count it to the 22nd. Even if you're a miracle worker. The first event was the 19th, the Muslim ceremony. That went in order because the powers that be were not really interested. So the Muslim ceremony turned out fine. On Sunday, we went to the Effort Baptist Church for the service. Everything put in place for media, for choirs, for everything. By the time I got to the church, changed. The choir had been put one way, they couldn't do it, and the press was all over the place. And it's very interesting, that Sunday evening, I met my cousin Fahnbulleh at the Capitol. And I said to him, I do not want to see what happened today in Calvary Baptist Church at the inauguration tomorrow. Get your journalists under control. You don't need to credit everybody. He's here, Pastor. Sunday afternoon, I go to the Capitol on my way to my sister Julie Andy's beautiful exhibition. That went well. I don't hear anybody talking about it, because people there worked in harmony and we worked together, and they listened to the inaugural head as announced by Joseph Becker. On my way to the Capitol and getting at the Capitol, I saw that work was half done. In fact, a quarter done. No carpets, nothing. The things we talked about, the things we said we would put in place. When I asked, I was told that it was the GSA that was responsible. Who is the head of the GSA? My sister Mary Braw. My sister Mary Braw received the funding for the upliftment of the Capitol, the preparation of the Capitol, and the events. Not my subcommittee chair. And so I went and approached Madam Braw. Madam, tomorrow is the day. Look at this state. What happened to this? What happened to that? What happened to this? Madam Braw proceeded with her own. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. Well, Madam, you are GSA. it is your responsibility to put things into place when they are official and national occasions. I can't accept excuses from you. Of course, that went in the media another way, that I shouted at her. Yes, I was a little angry. Who wouldn't be angry? I got an inauguration tomorrow morning. Everybody thinks I can do wonders. And the people who are supposed to do the wonders are telling me they can't do anything. And to the members of the legislature who today want to shy far from this national disaster, as you all call it. Those who claim they had oversight, where were they? How many of them came to the Capitol the night before or the day before to check and see? How many of them asked, do we have enough water? How many of them asked, do we have enough chairs? How many? I thank in the persons of Pro Tem Amajalo, former Senator Sando Johnson, NDCR Chairman Saboli, who came to find out how they could help and what was going on before the inauguration. Now, Miatta Fahnbulleh and her committee were not responsible for the printing of any invitations. Just to show you the disrespect. So as a result, where I thought the understanding of the number 4,000 was complete, I'm finding out this morning that 7,000 invitations were printed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Protocol. I only found out this morning. So why is somebody going to hold me responsible for not having 7,000 chairs? How was I supposed to know that the government security that control the entire process in terms of security, how did I know that government EPS officers would stand at gates and just allow people to walk in, invitation or no invitation? Or you all didn't see that? You all are not aware? From the very direct entrance, that very direct entrance, people walked in and out, including the Grand Prix sellers, to the situation of water. I came out of the hospital on the 20th, Saturday, and one of the orders from my doctor was to consistently drink as much water as possible because I was quickly dehydrating. So I went to the Capitol with water for me. But on arriving, like 10 minutes, I realized it was hot. So of course I turned to those responsible for the catering and all the water we had received, and we had enough water. Thanks to Aqua Life, thanks to Philips, thanks to Hugh and others. Yes, we had enough water. Now, from the beginning of the stage to the end was where the caterers were, right? I walked that distance twice, appealing for water. I was told the water would be served for that lunch. And my son, who was with me, asked, so you all prefer for the people to die until you're served lunch. They wouldn't even listen to me, my people. You know, an inaugural chair with big title, nobody got that for me. Hey, you understand? So, I'm saying, all of the issues. I heard a journalist yesterday on the radio. What happened to the fans? What happened to the fans? Did you give me money for fans? I'm not the GSA woman. GSA got a budget to make the place equipped. Not Miatta Fahnbulleh. And at that particular stage we were at, I really couldn't care less. Because I saw in front of me all rules, all bounds broken. The protocol. We put together a fantastic protocol team who would control our day with the likes of Ambassador Bravo Nelson from Japan, former Ambassador Geraldine Bass. They didn't come on our committees to make money. They came on the committees to show us, direct us. The protocol department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs scrapped all of them, pushed all of them aside, and said, we will take care. And let me just add this. I did not choose the acting chief of protocol as my MC. I did not. I envisioned on the stage as MPC a Liberian who would make us proud, who would be able to pronounce, who would be able to recognize African leaders, give them the right title and perspective. And I wrote as the head of the inaugural committee to Kwame Clement, one of the best voices in journalism in this country. He consented. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs told me that nobody else could do that job on that morning except the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You know, I'm a rebel. Yeah, but not everything you won't fight for like that. I can fight. I'm in Aries. I'm not afraid of a fight. But it was just going on and on and on. So I didn't even argue. That is why you did not see as your MC someone who could pronounce the names of our visiting heads of state. Someone who could tell you that the Vice President of Nigeria is Alhaji Shetima. Not somebody who would be afraid to announce the governor of Biafra State. We are our own worst enemies. So, in another week, I hope, bring on the auditors. Nobody's running for auditor around here. They say flower living before your cut. I was now waiting for the inaugural budget to leave. The audit will come. I want the audit. I want the audit. My father worked hard for his name. My mother worked hard for her name. And I will not allow petty-minded people to tarnish me and my reputation. Yes, the buck stops with me, but I just explained to all of you, I was never in control. Never. And I wasn't going to go running to Joseph Baker, and then you want to let me do this, and then you want to let... No. He expected much more from me. But at this stage, a lot of people have said, Miatta, don't say nothing, just leave it. No, I will not leave it. I will not leave it. We're known criminals in this society can sit on public viewing in radio and castigate me. I will not leave it. I will not leave it. Basically, that is the reality that we saw. Any questions you want to ask, you are welcome. Please let me introduce you. You want someone to ask from you? You need to ask me now, right? Yes. But please let me introduce a brilliant woman, a friend of mine. She's supposed to be traveling out, but came to give me her support. One of Liberia's best that I invited for the inauguration. A woman who has made so much contribution to our academic excellence and writings, respected all over Africa and the world. But yet she comes to her country, and this so-called protocol MC, because she doesn't know her value or who she is, actually attempts to stop her from reading her entire poem that she has sat down to write for this occasion. So please let me introduce my friend and sister, Dr. Professor Patricia Jabe Wesley of the University of Pennsylvania.
You listen to Miatta
Fahnbulleh in name. I think the clarification was important because our society is gullible. Since inauguration, we've heard a lot, and it was just good for the person who was named to chair this committee for them to make the clarification that she just made. Everywhere I go, we say $600,000 was taken and given to a committee. So you have heard from all this money that not a dime was ever sent there. So even the committees that the government worked with, individually, committee chairpersons went to the foreign ministry to receive checks for whatever they were to do. I was hearing the media communication committee, for example, the letter that they could give to all was sent to the Ministry of Information from the foreign ministry before the information ministry could remit some money to us. So this was the bureaucracy and the protocol. And so we just wanted to take this time to make a clarification. It's not about being confrontational, but it's about being real, so that the facts can be known. And so before the question comes, so that we don't forget, there are some members of the committees here. We call their names. I thought also paperwork with the Transport Committee. That was to be the Transport Committee headed by Terry Domba, but they too were not allowed to really do their work. GSA had to do everything that they were to do. We have Mr. Dean there too on the committee, secretary on the committee. We have one of my committee members, Deputy Wama, in the corner there, the Chancellor for Fire, who was a utility person between our committee and the steering committee. Cyrus Barber, veteran broadcaster, my co-chair. We have Marilyn Allison, who was in the protocol committee, but she wasn't also allowed to do the work for which the committee was put there. Charlie Carey was on the committee to recruit volunteers, people who wanted to come to help. And of course, we have introduced the points of you people. Chelsea Bradford, the renowned broadcaster, the 1980s broadcaster, was also in my committee. So we'll stop here. If there are some questions for Madam Chairman, you can ask a question. Or if the question will relate to the specific work that we're doing in the committee, we can also come to address ourselves. So, whatever questions. So at this time, we invite you to ask a question.
Thank you. Journalist Don Castle, please ask a question.
Thank you so much. My name is Lawrence Walati, and I'll be for OKFM. Thank you so much, Madam Chair, for the deliberation. Though according to you, you were just the head and by name, and I want to appreciate you for your work towards Liberia. But I have two questions, and one of them is, during your presentation, you talked about some of the challenges that you face. I want to know who to blame for what we observe on that particular day. And my second question is, you were one of those who were passionate in making sure that President Bouazizi, have a good or colorful inauguration. Were these concern or observation and maybe presented to Ambassador Bouazizi to say, oh, Mr. President, these are some of the challenges I'm facing. How can we work it out? Thank you.
Who's to blame? Hey, the buck stops with me. I do apologize, and I'm sure it won't happen again. And what was the second question? Oh, whether I ever took to President Bouazizi. I don't know if when you are doing a birthday party for a loved one, surprise party or whatever, and planning something for somebody, you don't normally go running to them and say, what cake you want, or what you do, or etc. So basically, like I said, I didn't want to go running and whining to His Excellency. He had given me a responsibility, and I tried to protect him. I tried to protect him from what was going on, because basically a lot of things were coming, that's, like I said, not only from the government, but his party. I didn't wish to pitch him against his party. So, yeah, I tried to exclude him from these things.